This is the MGM 1 month overview reading for the month of February 2023. It's currently January 23rd, 2023, 6:32 p.m. Eastern Time. MGM at the time of this reading is $39.90. So the overall theme and behavior for the month, we have a significant bottom that'll stand out on like a 1 year chart, if you will. There's a significant trough or low, and it's crossed with revisiting of a crest that was recently a past opportunity. It looks like we visit it here, we likely visit it here. This could easily be another highest high right here. There's a color code system to Eso-Meta analysis, which allows us to read a lot more information visually and extrapolate patterns by doing so. And so a green star, translucent star, indicates a highest probability of a highest high rather than just it being a prominent high. If you don't know what the difference between a prominent high and the highest high, this would be a highest high, prominent high, prominent high, prominent high, prominent high, prominent high. Okay, that's what that is. Hopefully that makes sense. And so with that said, looks like we revisit a crest here on the 9th. And interesting, it looks like we have a lowest low on the 17th, a high probability of a lowest low on the 17th. But then it looks like we may even have another opportunity in early March, maybe at a better price, because it looks like it's telling me to continue, either to close out here or to out of a. I'll get into the trades in much more detail on the paid version, guys. If you don't have the paid version, you're interested in the paid version, go to the website tarotfortraders.com, email us, let us know you're interested. We'll set something up. Paid version gets emailed to you, comes out sooner than the public version, and it also includes the best trades that we see for the month. It's a great way to help support the channel. And so behavior around the highest high, we have a sideways S formation, which usually means that we see the high twice, right? We start at the top of a range, like at a top of a channel at a resistance level, and we decline to a support level. Then we turn around and reverse all the way back to that resistance level, reverse off of it, and go all the way back to that support. So usually when you see that as a high, there's two highs. Behavior around the lowest low, there's going to be bearish price swings and a sharp dip that'll really stand out on a 1 month chart, at least into the lowest low. On the first, we have a crest, like a prominent crest or peak that stands out on a 1 month chart, and there's a significant decline off of that, also standing out on a multi-day chart, the decline. There's a notable bottom that stands out here, a trough that stands out here, I should say. A prominent trough of some kind at the low for the day. And there's also, wow, there's a lot of behavior going on here. There's also a revisiting of a crest in here on the first as well, so that's interesting. And it looks like we're, based on what I'm seeing, we should have entered a trade towards the end of January, and this is like discussing more of the trade and the closeout position for it. On the second, we have a prominent high. From that, we decline to and through a key support level on a 1 month scale, do a U-shaped reversal below that support level, come back and reuse it as support. On the third, we have most likely location of our highest high here. We move higher through a key resistance level on a 1 month scale. We decline back down shortly thereafter through that same price level. There's one other place where we're most likely to have a highest high, which is on the 9th, so it's possible that this is the highest high or that they both are, hard to say. On the 6th, we have a prominent trough that stands out, so after making a new high, we make a new low due to selling from an overbought crest or peak. On the 7th, we have a critical technical price level that's highlighted as a resistance level. It's critical on more than just a 1-month chart. This will be critical on like a 1-year kind of scale. And there's a notable decline starting at the end of the day. There's a trade opportunity on the 8th, a bullish trade opportunity on the 8th in the midst of a day's low, somewhere towards the middle part of the day. It's sideways fluctuations with the bearish trend preceding a rally, so there should be a gap up overnight or a move to the upside off of a low here, probably midday on the 9th. Or a U-shaped dip, but in the midst of this move off of the low, this is a big move to off of the low. We should see a big move standing out, and a high either on the 9th or on the 10th, a probable highest high on the 9th or on the 10th. Notable trade opportunity there, which I'll get into again in the paid version. On the 13th, on the 18th, there's a significant reversal standing out on a 1-month scale at least. On the 13th, we have a prominent crest again, so likely a notable amount of decline here on the 10th. I think I said the 18th, but I meant the 10th here. So probably a notable decline, or there's a significant gap down because we make a new prominent crest or peak here on the 13th in the midst of a move higher, followed by a full retracement of that move. There maybe like a merger of some kind, or a merger acquisition, or a decision between two leaders that impacts MGM. A notable trade opportunity on the 14th in the midst of some sideways rotation. Again, I'll talk about that in the paid version. And then on the 15th, there's a notable move to the upside standing out on a 1-month chart. Looks like a day's high towards the early afternoon, with a bit of a decline through a diagonal trend line following that day's high, which is a prominent crest or peak as well. So we have 1, 2, 3. There should be some volatility in there. We have 1, 2, 3 prominent crest or peak. And then another big move to the upside standing out on a 1-month chart, but it's followed by a full retracement of that move all the way back down to where the big move up started, making like a triangular kind of shape on a chart. And it brings us then the following day, brief peak or high either on the 16th or on the 17th. There's a brief peak or high, prominent peak or high, and it's a brief and easily missed, and we decline significantly through multiple support levels on the 17th to meet a lowest low location. This is most likely where the lowest low is for the month here on the 17th. The 20th, we're closed. On the 21st, there's a big move higher, pushing the upper end of a range higher, and there's also a correlation here to the death card as well. So we kind of like probably established a significant bottom here on the 17th, and the 21st somehow. But there's a big move pushing the upper end of a range higher here on the 21st, revisiting a crest that was recently a past opportunity. So within like the last 7 days usually is the revisiting on a 1-month scale. There's multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 22nd and a prominent crest or peak mid-morning. We have a breakout on a 1-month kind of scale on the 23rd with a day's high towards the middle part of the day, and then likely a gap down overnight because we have a big move to the upside, either from severely oversold territory here, a big move upside on the 24th, or to fill a previous gap down. But it'll be a notable move, and then it looks like we probably have another gap down or a decline from this move to the upside, a decline into the 27th, because on the 27th, out of a decline, there's a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range on a multi-day kind of scale. It'll stand out. This is also a location where it might make sense to place a trade, and I'll get into that in the paid version. On the 28th, we are bound by a range on a multi-day kind of scale, and it looks like it's the bottom end of a range. So it looks like towards the end of the day we have a notable decline into the bottom of a range. And the sneak preview card for March, the full card means something very unexpected. There's a notable trade opportunity staying out on a 1-year chart here, and it's something very unexpected and you could say lucky that takes place in the midst of this unexpected and improbable move that takes place. We'll get into the March. We're actually going to record March in like a week, and then that'll be on the website for early access for quite some time before it posts a month ahead of. We usually post like within 10 to 15 days ahead of the month when it comes to the monthlies. But in any case, guys, that's MGM for February 2023. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, my friends. It's even more important right now to follow that rule of karma every time you make money from the readings on this channel. It's super important because first off, you'll cut off the flow of abundance if you hold on to just this 5% of a profit that you could give back to the channel. It's part of the rule of karma. It's part of the channel, guys, and it's super important, even more important now because we don't have our merchant account open on the website. So really, the only income that this channel is making is from those people that are doing the 5%. And for those of you guys, bless your hearts, bless your souls, bless your lives. It'll come back to you tenfold. You have my word on that. You shall see. And thank you so much again for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the paid version. We're gonna get into that in just a minute here. Later. This is where we extrapolate some extra information through yes or no questions. And for those of you that are interested, the February MGM readings, the shuffle file was created on January 19th, 2023, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this file right here. Is MGM's highest price level of February 2023 taking place on February 3rd, 2023? No. Is MGM's highest price level of February 2023 taking place on February 2nd, 2023? Yes. Actually, that might be a maybe. Let me double check on that. It's the 4. Check my notes. Maybe's throw me off occasionally. Yep, it's a maybe. Mean in the case of this Q&A, that likely means that it appears more than once. Does MGM's highest price level of February 2023 take place on February 8th, 2023? Yes. Does MGM's highest price level of February 2023 take place on more than 2 unique days of February 2023? Yes, I think it probably is on the 7th. Does MGM's highest price level of February 2023 take place on February 7th, 2023? I got the Prudence card, otherwise a maybe. So there you go. We've got, it looks like it appears 3 times. Oops. Does MGM's lowest price level of February 2023 take place on February 17th, 2023? No. Does MGM's lowest price level of February 2023 take place on February 21st, 2023? Yes. And it looks like it's a revisiting. I got the Queen of Discs. Usually that's like the revisiting of a support level that was an opportunity. But we're going to put this... And whereas a green translucent star equals the highest probable location of a highest high, a red translucent star indicates highest probability of a lowest low. And it's always on the scale. When I mean lowest low, it's always on the scale of the reading, and by that I mean on the scale. This is a 1 month reading, so lowest low within the month of February. There you have the shuffle. When we look at the 1 year, we have this revisiting of a crest in the midst of some erratic behavior back and forth in early February, and then it looks like there's an unexpected opportunity near the high, followed by likely a big decline off of a key resistance. After meeting key resistance, a big decline to reach a lowest low. I think what this lowest low that's coming up in early March is actually going to be in February. The end of February is my sense. And then out of that, there's a big move out of oversold territory to the upside in late February. With the lowest low maybe in early March. It's somewhere on the cusp there, but we decline into it, and then there's a big move out of it. Important to point out there. And then something else that's interesting. So the Princess of Cups, when we look at the 1 month, is also the crossing card for the Death card, right? So even more prominence in the bit of erratic behavior that we see here. Is MGM, does MGM have a prominent low price level on February 8th, 2023? Ooh, I got a unicursal there. Yeah. There's a really big drop there, guys. On this, from the 7th to the 8th. Big drop there. This will reward those of you, I wasn't planning on doing this question, but this will reward those of you that watched the full video rather than just skimming through it. So much information people must miss if they don't watch the whole thing, you know? What am I doing here? I want that, and I want this. Unicursal hexagram. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty much the extra information for MGM. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Most importantly, my friends, follow that rule of karma. It's so important if you plan to profit from this information. If you don't know what that rule of karma is for the channel, please check out the video. Search for the video in our channel search. The rule of karma explained. Super important if you plan to profit from this information that you follow that rule of karma. Don't disappoint yourselves, guys. And stay tuned for the paid portion, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.